So, welcome to Currently Unnamed Podcast.
Now named DigiDate.
A podcast where we play visual novels, bitch about them to our friends for a couple of weeks, and then we come in to record it.
Yeah, essentially. My name's Milo.
My name is Nellsie. Well, we did it.
Today on the docket, I think, I said today like we've done this before. This is 100% new. Me and Nellsie, good buddies. But I will say what made us closer buddies is that we started playing Mystic Messenger, and we've been playing it for a month.
Yes.
More than a month.
In case you're a distant time traveler listening to this in the far future, or in the past, I guess, because I added time traveler to this metaphor for some reason, this is currently being recorded in 2020 during the coronavirus quarantine. So that's why we've been playing this 4-year-old game.
Yes. Do we want to get to, what Mystic Messenger is, in case you're also a distant time traveler and just don't know what it is?
Sure. I think the distant time traveler crowd would really appreciate it. So, Mystic Messenger is a mobile otome game. If you call me out for how I pronounce otome, I will kill you. You will not have any time to defend yourself, because you will be dead. Mystic Messenger is a mobile otome game that got really popular in the summer of 2016, around the same time Pokemon Go was popular, funny enough.
Holy shit, that's true, isn't it?
It is! That was the fucking weirdest summer of ever that had ever existed up until this one, where we are now quarantined for the coronavirus. This is like the anti-2016 summer.
It is. Okay, but I guess the premise of Mystic Messenger, the plot. Well, no, let's get into, what the game is. It is an app where pretty boys, and also Jahyu, who is a pretty girl, talk to you on your phone, and they call you.
Yeah. Mystic Messenger is, imagine if you had gotten a text message from a stranger that told you to download this app so that you could talk to pretty boys, and also you were an idiot.
We're doing this into 3 parts because we spent about 2 to 3 months on this, and if we have to deal with this, so do you. So the first one we're gonna do is just the regular story, is that what it's called, right?
Yeah, the common route, the first 4 days.
The plot of the common route is that you get a text from somebody on this app that you downloaded to talk to pretty boys, who is like, hey, here's this random ass address, and go to this location and just scope it out, see what the deal is. So this is someone's phone, I gotta give it back to them.
Just scope it out!
So you go to this random ass location, you open the door, and then all of a sudden you're locked fucking in, and you have to live there now. Because the RFA, which is Rika's fundraising association.
I think it's an association.
Yeah, she is now dead, quote, air quote.
She's dead, wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge.
She's dead. In the ocean, wink, wink, where there was no body, wink, wink, wink.
And you're in her apartment, and they're like, okay, you're in her apartment. Guess you gotta do the fucking parties now. It's your job. You do this now. And over the 10 days, for the first 4 days, it's just you trying to get a dude to like you, and then after that, you get into a route, which are the routes that we're gonna be talking about.
Yeah. One of the big draws of Mystic Messenger, that if you were around when it was popular, you would have heard about, is that all of the chats take place in real time. So, chats will open at fucking 3 a.m., and they'll talk to you about important shit while you're asleep. And if you miss, you will pay hourglasses in order to redo this chat. Now, I don't want to say that Milo and I spent money on this game, but Milo and I spent money on this game.
We'll get more into that when we get into another story in terms of the fucking having to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to talk to fucking V.
Oh my god, we can't get into V right now. But this is a fun teaser for the 3rd episode.
Watch us lose our mind. Oh, but speaking of that, we will have somebody, Dawn, who is actually my boyfriend, who is going to be on later in the podcast to destroy me for what it is like to live with somebody. What is it like whenever your family members decide to get into Mystic Messenger and will refuse to stop?
My partner personally could not come onto this podcast, but I think it's pertinent to say that we were doing a senior superlative thing in our Discord server, and they personally nominated me for most likely to kiss an anime boy, so I think that shows their opinion on me and Mystic Messenger.
They only did that because I already graduated, so they wouldn't have... If I had just waited 1 year, I would have gotten that one. Alright, Zen, should we start our biases?
Yeah, let's state our biases first and foremost. I personally, this sort of slang terminology will be grievously outdated for all you time travelers out there, but I consider myself a Yusung simp, a U-simp if you will.
And I'm a 7 simp, which you'll become more apparent once we get to the other episodes.
So, starting with Zen, these will all be in 20-minute increments that we're going to talk about these, and they will be edited down because we won't stop talking. So, starting with Zen, okay. Hey, I must admit, I like Zen. I'm not perhaps his demographic.
Yes, I enjoy Zen as a concept and as a funny man.
As a very funny man.
So the whole thing with Zen's whole thing is that he is a actor. He's a trying actor who loves himself to an extreme degree.
Extreme. He's every chat with Zen is, hey, look at this picture of me. Aren't I hot?
It is extreme. It is to the point where it is like, there is narcissism, and then there is like this dude, if he saw his reflection in a puddle, would reach down and kiss it.
Yeah, Zen, I like to believe that Zen wakes up, he does everything he needs to do in the morning, and then he looks at himself in the mirror, and he leans in to give it a little peck, but then he gets sort of into it, and then it gets kind of intense with himself, you know? So now he's just tongue-kissing the mirror.
Yeah, I think this man has his mirror is wet. You walk into his apartment and there are wet, sloppy stains because the man's just like he's addicted to kissing himself.
He's addicted to himself.
It is, yeah, and that's why I think I know people. We have friends.
Surprisingly, we have friends.
We have friends who love Zen, and I get it, but also, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, so to start off with Zen, we have a couple of notes here. So Zen's drawing appeal. I'm looking at my Zen notes, and I really should not have put as many jokes as I did.
My only Zen note is hot guy.
I have on my notes very hot guy. I will give him at least that. Zen is very pretty, even if he has a rat tail mullet combination.
Ooh, his rat tail is, ooh.
His rat tail is, things that make me go,
He's also definitely one of those routes that I don't know what term I'm going to coin for it. I guess like the feel-good routes. They're the routes that are really heavy on the romance.
I feel like Zen's route is first and foremost definitely like, it's meant to appeal to somebody who, the thing about Zen is that he's definitely one of the feel-good routes. He's a hot guy, just a very pretty boy with a very strange mullet rat tail combination. And Zen is a feel-good route. He's definitely just like a very hot guy who I've put down in my notes. He's super flirty. He's super available, which I think is one of the things. Like, Zen is one of the most emotionally available characters within Mystic Messenger.
100%. He is immediately like, I love you. I can't wait to get married.
Zen's whole thing is like, he meets you and he's like, I want to fuck you so bad. But we'll get back to Zen and his horny behavior later.
His uncomfortable, horny behavior.
His uncomfortable, horny behavior. He's a hot guy, and he compliments you a lot, and his route is like, his route has connections to the plot factors of the game, but I would definitely say in the ranking of routes within the game, his is definitely the least. You know, he's the guy that draws you in, and he doesn't have a lot going on that is super connected to the whole plot of the game.
Yes, that's why a lot of the actual storyline of his route feels 100% forced, because it feels like they kind of wanted to just have, like, a feel-good route, and they didn't think of anything that would be a reason for things to happen in his route, so they made up things to happen, like he breaks his leg, and that's a big thing, and that does come back in other routes, but in this one, it's like, and then he meets this woman. Should we get into that, or should we wait?
Okay, so, Echo Girl.
Even the name makes me laugh because it is just such a wild plotline.
My note about Echo Girl in this untitled notepad is Echo Girl huge tits, because this is something you learn about her in canon.
Yes, she talks about her tits.
She talks about her tits quite a bit. Natural double Ds, you know, very proud of her. Echo Girl is introduced about the mid-section of Zen's route, if I remember correctly. And when she's introduced, Zen has just landed a big acting job. This could be his career breakthrough, right? This is his big break. His big break in the musical theater scene and the movie scene, as he desires to become part of, I think is briefly explained. But anyway, Echo Girl is super famous. Yu Sung mentions being a big fan of hers, and Seven mentions having a friend who is a fan of hers. Zen doesn't really know her like that, but he's excited to be participating in this project. So Echo Girl has this issue that you will notice in a couple of woman characters in Mystic Messenger, which is that they are villains, twirling their mustaches and tying the main character to railroad tracks.
Tying maidens to railroad tracks. That is most of the villain characters in Missing Messenger are women. And they are they are evil in the most over-the-top way.
They're evil in a hilarious way.
Yes, Echo Girl wants to date Zen really bad. But Zen just wants, the gig, so she kind of holds that against him and then makes up this whole thing that she, advanced on her.
Yeah, so Echo Girl, the reason why, this is transparently one of the reasons why I like Zen's plot the least, is because it has this badly written false sexual assault accusation written into it.
It's so much.
It's so much. And so a lot of his route is dedicated to you, one, understanding that he has not fucked Echo Girl, or sexually assaulted her as she claims. And two, trying to disprove this. Part of the reason why this is a little bit problematic, aside from the whole thing, and I loathe to use the term problematic, but it is that you are not giving any, real reasons why he didn't do this. You're just well, Echo Girl is a real fan!
It has these cutscenes where there are, in Mystic Messenger, there are 3 types of events. There are the chat rooms, there are calls, and then there are these essentially just regular visual novel story modes. And you have those with Zen and meeting up with Echo Girl and stuff, and it is just it is some daytime drama shit. It is over the top. And yeah, from everybody else's perspective, they have no reason to really believe that Zen didn't. It is so much, and it is just so stupid. It is 100% just to have this moment that is oh, MC, blah blah blah, you trust me, you believe in me.
One of my favorite things about Zen, his route, is just the things that you would have to analyze that make it absolutely buck wild insane. And so this leads into a segment called Horny Zen and Legitimately Supernatural Creature Zen.
Zen canonically has prophetic dreams.
Prophetic dreams. He can see the future.
This comes back in other routes. He sees the future.
It's a legitimate plot point in other routes, and we'll get to that later, but I think about it constantly, because Zen not only has prophetic dreams, he also heals from injuries at a prodigious rate that is impossible for a human being.
And also, I know that he's an anime boy, but you see his family, and his family all have brown hair and brown eyes, and he has red eyes and white hair.
There's something distinctly wrong with Zen. I don't understand it. Supernatural Zen is a footnote here because it's so weird and fucked up and barely paid attention to, but I wanted to make note of it because I just wanted to address the fact that in this dating sim, which could have had supernatural elements but chose not to, in this dating sim where you are going, where the overarching plot is a realistic based cult, and where the supernatural stuff is moreover a joke, you have a character who canonically has prophetic dreams.
Yes, that's it. That's the one supernatural element. Just, it means everything to me because it is just, that's why I enjoy Zen, because Zen is so weird as a character in Mystic Messenger that he's interesting to me, but then I think about his route too much, and then it's just, it falls apart because it fits in that one type of Mystic Messenger sort of plot, which is, this is a daytime show. This is not anywhere near a level where I expect you all to go, because we haven't even gotten into Zen's family.
Oh, let's get into Zen's family. We'll put a pin in Horny Zen real quick, because Zen's family makes me insane, because this is Zen's canonical backstory, is that he was so hot that his family hated him.
When they started to do that whole thing, they started to talk about oh, no, Zen's family didn't want him to be an actor, but then they added in all this extra shit into it about how he was too hot and attractive that his family just fucking said, get out of here, and kicked him out.
It's just insane to me that, you can have a character whose backstory is that he's so sexy and so passionate about acting, a dating sim-wise, a sexy career, that he's got kicked out by his family.
The acting, I would understand. It's oh, you want to go an artsy career, but all this extra stuff that they add about, oh, no, it's also because he's hot. And it's weird. They, bring it up, it's oh, you're gonna get hurt, etc., etc. You're bringing a bad name to the family because you're ridiculously hot. It's such a weird extra thing. It feels I know Zen isn't the one telling us this, but if it was Zen telling us this, that would make sense, because it'd be like if I said, here's my childhood trauma. My childhood trauma is that X, Y, and Z happened, and also I was so hot my parents hated me. That's just wild.
If I went up to you and I was like, hey, I have all these problems in my life. Also, I'm just so sexy that my parents they saw me as a kid and they were like, I have to fucking ruin this kid because he's too hot.
It's insane. Should we get into the Zen horniness now?
Okay, so horny Zen. Aside from being too hot that his family has disowned him, Zen is also extremely horny. This is a prevailing theme in a lot of routes in Mystic Messenger where they have like PG-15 sexuality that they're allowed to tell you about. But Zen is like, not only do you get a bad ending if you fuck Zen, in his whole route, and I must iterate, I've only ever gotten the good end with Zen because I'm a nice person. His whole route is you showing up to his house and him going, I can't hold your hand. I can't hold your hand or I'm going to fuck you.
I'm gonna jizz, man. I'm gonna blast off. I can't do it.
I'm gonna jizz. I'm dying of cupping.
Stop. Don't touch me. Please don't touch me. I'm a wild animal.
It's so funny. Oh my god. Zen's wolf thing is... We'll
touch on this a little bit. So Zen has this thing where if you're in anybody else's route besides Yusung and Jahi, he will call you and be like, you guys fucking? Are you guys fucking? Are you fucking? You tell me if you were, right? And he's like, men are animals, they're wolves, they'll go awooga and their eyes will bulge out.
Think about Zen's stupid, horny bullshit constantly.
They'll go awooga, their eyes will bulge out. That became a running joke in our Discord.
It became a running joke in our Discord. We talked about it constantly. I am going to mention this briefly, is that Zen's route is the only route, to my recollection, where he and Jumin become something like friends.
Yeah, there's a whole scene where Jumin is the only one who knows this secret spot Zen goes to.
It's a sweet moment. I wish it didn't come after Zen had been falsely accused of sexual assault.
Yeah, it's just so much. And there's also the whole thing with Jahi. You see, Zen's is one of those where I don't remember how his intersects with the actual plot of like the behind the scenes shit at all.
For a moment, you're like briefly held at choke point by unknown.
Oh yes, we should get into the undercover plot of Mystic Messenger, or I guess if you don't know, we'll unveil it. I guess little by little. So, the hacker, who is unknown,
we'll
is
unveil
sort of been keeping an eye on you, and there's sort of an unknown reason, why they want the party to happen. So, occasionally they try to attack you. I don't remember why. It feels weird now that we've played through all of this. I can't remember why they attack you like this.
Literally, I don't quite understand it. I feel like... but yeah, Unknown is, he appears in Zen's route. I think he briefly holds you at choke point. I don't think there's much advance beyond that.
Yeah, Zen's route is very much like, it is just a clusterfuck of random shit happening, and the main thing is just that way you and Zen can meet up, and then he can be like, don't touch me, I'm gonna jizz in my pants.
Yeah, he can go, I'm gonna jizz in my pants by the lonely island, and you're gonna go, hey, I know you're a musical actor, but could you shut the fuck up? And then he goes, no, don't be mean to me, my family disowned me because I'm so hot, and then I had to join a motorcycle gang, and now I'm the only person in the cast with a binge drinking problem, except for Jumin.
Also, he is cumbrain, too. He has the most vices, like, typical vices of any of the cast. He drinks, he smokes, he, like, I guess rides his motorcycle recklessly. It's never a plot point.
Yeah, it's never really a plot point. I think there was, he briefly mentions in several routes that he's planning on quitting cigarettes, which, you know, good for him. I kind of understand what they're trying to go for here with Zen, is that, like, he is the hottest character, but he's got all these vices that are deal breakers for a lot of people. You meet a surprising amount of people in life who just won't deal with smokers, like, at all. That being said, I think the fact that Zen smokes is mentioned, like, maybe 5 times in most other routes.
It's not that I want them in this route to fix it, but it's just so weird that they went if they were running out of ideas so badly, why not go for the obvious, easy, instead of making up a woman who falsely accused him of sexual assault?
Literally, I just don't get it. I feel like you could build a decent enough plot based on the idea that Zen is like, you know, he has a smoking problem, he has a drinking problem, he has these clear problems that he probably got while while working in showbiz or something. You could make something out of that. Why is he being accused of sexual assault by Big Tits Echo Girl?
I don't get it. Okay. I think that concludes our time with Zen. So
that concludes our Zen report. Our grade for him is a C+. Good effort. You know, very proud of him. Love my mullet rat tail man.
Yes, C+ also for me. Same, yeah, that's our grade. He also has the best CGs in the entire game.
Oh, absolutely. The artist for Mystic Messenger fucking loves Zen.
Love Zen. It is amazing. Okay, now we get into Jahi or Jahi?
Jahi. You're our resident Jahi simp aside from, we will, again, this will be much in the same way of please don't correct my pronunciation of otome game, where please don't correct my pronunciation of Jahi because I don't know how it's said.
I don't know either, and I know that we should because we hear it all the fucking time, but I just don't remember. I don't remember.
You would think you'd pick up on it, but the only things I pick up on are you sung stupid emoji sounds.
Okay, I'm going to literally look it up. I'm going to look it up right now while we are on this podcast. Jahi pronunciation Mystic Messenger.
I'm really excited for going through this recording of this podcast and desperately hoping that the copyrighted music my brother is playing in our fucking house doesn't get picked up on my microphone. I usually say Jahi, but I started saying Jahi because I didn't want to look like a dummy.
How to pronounce it? Google, YouTube video, 26 seconds. Jahi. So Jahi, which I hope this is correct. If it's not, then YouTube told me wrong. Okay, I am the resident Jahi simp, so I really love her. I will say her route is so low stakes to an extreme degree, to the point, I told Nellsie about this, because I actually replayed it recently, is there is a point where you have two options, and one of the options, like Jahi, I think Jahi was saying like, oh, I'm sad at work, and then you have the option like, no, quit your job, and the other option is visual novels are supposed to have two options, and it's like, okay, you're not even gonna try? The right option for Jahi's route is incredibly obvious.
Now, to be clear, Jahi, I love her. I love her to death. The last time I played Jahi's route was not as recent as Milo's, so my memory of it is foggy. And also, I must admit to my biases, and my biases are that Jahi's route is kind of boring.
Oh, it is incredibly boring. I think Jahi's route was the first route that I would skip some shit. I would just because I was bored. I didn't want to do it. If I missed stuff, I was zoned out so bad through some stuff.
I love Jahi to an extreme extent. I will say I think a lot of the reason why Jahi is extremely popular with lesbians.
Yes.
Which I understand, because she's a woman. She's got that one up on everybody else in the game. Now, you know, I prefer women generally, but with Jahi's route, it's so much of, well, we gotta get into, I guess, now is a good time to get into the gal palling, right? So Jahi's route is pretty known for, if you frequent the Mystic Messenger tags, Jahi does not have a traditional romance route. She is canonically bisexual, which was established in the Christmas DLC, I think, but she does not have a traditional romance route. Her whole thing is that you are romancing her as a friend.
Yes, you romancing her as a friend. The central issue of her route is that you want her to quit her job because she works for Juman.
You want her to quit her job.
Like the CEO. Juman is a bad boss. He is an incredibly bad boss.
Juman is a horrible, awful shit
you want
boss.
her to quit her job, but it is 100%. There are lines that she says where it's like, maybe I don't need a romance. Maybe what I really needed was a friend, which is I know what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to be like, well, you know, can't we have a route that's just being friends? And it's like, yeah, you can if it's not the one girl route.
Can we have a route where you're just friends? Friends who maybe read a little bit of romantic poetry to each other. Maybe, you know, you talk about how you were destined to meet, how you've influenced each other's lives so heavily. You know, you're friends where you just sultrily kiss under the moonlight in front of the new coffee shop you opened as you live together. You're friends who you tell your tragic backstory about your parents
dying.
dying.
You changed your life, and then you talk about it, and you're like, wow, I think you're the most important person to me. Fuck off.
You know, my platonic girlfriends who I look at them and I think you're so beautiful.
Jahi's route upsets me because if you can ignore, honestly, I do enjoy Jahi's route a lot. Even though it's boring, a lot of it's if you're a big Jahi fan, you can ignore a lot of that, and I am one, so I enjoyed her route a lot. And if you sort of squint, you can see the romance there and just pretend it's you. And if you're a big fan of Jahi and you're just like, you're gonna be fine, but if you are someone who wants wants romance, any sort of romance that isn't like huddling around scraps and digging them out, you're not gonna get anything from this.
707 canonical homophobia. When 707 is like dating Jaehee on your phone, oops, I mean becoming friends with Jaehee. Fuck off.
Was that homophobia or was that trying to help us?
True. I say homophobia because...
Okay, we're never gonna get out of this hole. Let me get into... I will say, now, I'm incredibly partial to Jaehee, so a lot of the stuff in this route, even though it's boring, I do have a heart in me. There are a lot of interesting details about Jaehee's route that makes her route really fun on paper and not in practice. I was actually talking to Nellsie about a lot of them whenever it was happening because it was so wild. So the main thing of Jaehee's route is that... is that she, like, we want her to quit her job. But Jumin, whenever he's stressed, he makes more assignments for the people who work under him. Like it's a coping mechanism. He's issues and problems. So you get assigned to she gets assigned to this meerkat contest that used to happen. Now she's doing find the longest cat in the world.
Yeah, he has issues and problems.
She gets assigned, again, she's just the assistant for this dude to be the head of the new coffee division. There's this coffee cat cafe. She has to go into these meetings and be the head. She's not the department. She's just this dude's assistant.
She is this dude's assistant. I think about this constantly.
It drives me insane because I know why they're doing it, but it feels like he's like, no, you do it. You do it.
You do it. This would be a good time to point out the overlap between people who love Jaehee, people who hate Jumin.
I think I'm the one exception. I love Jumin. But I love Jaehee more, but I do like Jumin. If you do like Jumin, there's a lot of funny stuff in this.
There is a lot of funny stuff. Jumin crashes Seven's car.
Okay. So the big ending, one of the big points in her route is that she's gonna stand up to Jumin because she had a breakdown. She's having a breakdown. So what she does is that she hands off all of the material for the coffee stuff to Seven, and Seven replaces all of the likeness of the original cat that was Elizabeth, which is Jumin's cat. That was going to be the big logo with Long Cat, and introduces that to the shareholders. So now the shareholders want to invest, but they don't want to have Elizabeth as the main logo, and that's all Jumin cared about. He didn't give a shit about coffee. Jumin, in an act of revenge, shows up to Seven's house and then just gets into one of his cars and starts to drive it. Jumin cannot drive.
Jumin can't drive. It's a canonical fact. He can't drive at all.
And whenever Seven says, holy shit, what am I gonna do? Jumin's driver said, don't you not have like insurance on those cars? Isn't that illegal?
Because Seven is a canon tax evader.
So he can't do shit.
He can't do shit about this car. While we're on the subject of Jumin and Jaehee's route, this is a good time to pin, just for a later reference in episode 3, shithead V moments.
Oh yes, okay. To get into that, one second, let me take another sip of my water.
Oh, you sipping, bud? You sipping? Gotta take a little bit of hydration, bud?
A little sipping boy. Okay.
You little sipping boy.
So he crashes Seven's car, and at this point, Jaehee. There's also, I guess, we'll get into that later. There's the Seven and Jaehee stuff, which is really interesting. So he crashes Seven's car, and then Jaehee feels inclined to go and help him, and while she goes, they hear this stuff about the hacker, so she has to stay in Jumin's house. And there's this whole scene, this is before we get to the V stuff, that they're texting each other and they're sitting right next to each other, but Jumin is shy and he doesn't want to talk to her.
He's shy.
So the whole thing with V is that while you're in Jumin's house, this is the one point where I think the plot really intersects in Jaehee's route, is that V shows up, and there's been this scene where V was essentially being blackmailed by Mint Eye, which is a cult, he gave up himself. He's giving up himself in return for everybody else. But he's not gonna tell Jumin that because he's a liar. So he walks in and he says, he just jumps into Jumin's house and goes, hey, I have a disease, I'm gonna die.
Hey Milo, I want you to imagine for a moment, we're good friends, yes?
Mm-hmm, yes.
I would consider you a very good friend. You've entertained me many a time. I feel like I've done the same for you. We're good buddies. Now, I would trust you with a lot. Now, if tomorrow I came to you, and I told you that I had a terminal disease, which I was going to fucking die from.
And I hadn't seen you. I hadn't talked to you in months.
Yes, yeah. How would that make you feel?
I think I'd feel pretty pissed, pretty betrayed.
Well, Milo, I hate to tell you, but I have a terminal disease.
So he tells Jumin this, and then Jumin goes, "You're fucking lying to me," because he is.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Don't." Jumin has a scene where he's like, "Don't lie to me. Not you, not you." And it's sad. V just kind of leaves and does it, and makes Jumin the head of the Rafa now. And that's just kind of the end of him and Jaehee's route. That's just kind of it.
That was kind of it for V. That's all she wrote.
But to get into the Zen stuff, so whenever Zen breaks his leg, so Jaehee, in Jaehee's route, you just encourage her to go visit him. So she just kind of lives in his house for a bit. She doesn't sleep, and she takes care of Zen. Grown-ass man Zen.
Grown-ass man.
Yeah, grown-ass man Zen. And he does not have food in his fridge. He only has beer in there. He's alcoholic.
Because he's an
And
alcoholic.
He's, like, working day and night, and also taking care of this grown-ass man. And it does get to a point where it's sweet, where, like, he carries stuff in, he's taking care of her too, and they make food together, and then etc, etc. But it's just funny to me that she had to take care of this grown-ass man because he can't take care of himself.
And that's friendship.
That's friendship. But to get into the whole ending of Jaehee's, her whole thing is that she really likes coffee. She goes, once she's doing this whole coffee assignment for Jumin, she realizes, oh, I have a passion for coffee. She decides, I'm gonna open up a coffee shop. But the route does not tell you what she's doing in actuality. You just see her show up to you in the final 2 CGs, which look awful, and it is her handing you a key, and they don't really tell you what's happening, so it just looks like she's handing you a key.
My therapist, Big Face Jaehee, isn't real.
I hate the final CG. Who is this? Because they were like, so Jaehee's glasses are fake, which is stupid enough because I don't know why they would do that because she looks great. But then they're also like, she grows out her hair, so then in the after story, she looks like it's just MC again.
She's a new person.
Who the fuck is this?
She was reborn. She was reborn.
MC and her in the same frame, she looks like an MC. She does not look like, who is this? It drives me bonkers insane. In her final 2 CGs, they fucking put, I guess they're trying to be like, she dressed up for it, she put on lip gloss or whatever the fuck, but she's got like this shiny ass shit that they drew on her lips, and she looks like it's just bad, man. It drives me bonkers.
5-head Jaehee isn't real. She can't hurt you.
I don't know why they do this. I already ranted about this.
Low quality CGs are a common running theme between characters who are not Zen.
Characters who are not Zen. Yeah, Zen CGs are extremely good.
Zen CGs were drawn by a hand of somebody who loves him with all of their heart.
Yes, and then everybody else's can vary between wildly good and horribly bad. I will put on the screen Jaehee's final CGs, so if you don't want to see it, don't look. I'm just gonna put them up. If this is on YouTube, if you're not looking on YouTube, then just Google it.
If you're not on YouTube listening to our podcast and you take your moment to go look away from the dishes you're doing because your mom kept harping on you because she's an asshole.
You having a moment there, bud?
No. I love my mom. I love my mom.
This goes out to all the moms in the world.
This goes out to all the moms in the world. Happy Mother's Day. It's not Mother's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, moms. But anyway, as you're looking away from your art project that you're doing because you're a stinky little high school sophomore or whatever the fuck.
Damn, what is this?
I don't know. I hate high schoolers now. That's my new character.
Oh great, finally you graduated now. You think you're all high and mighty, huh?
You look at her CGs and you look at 5-head Jaehee.
It drives me insane. There are some good Jaehee CGs, but I don't know why they had the glasses not be real. That's just my opinion. It's stupid. I know what it's trying to do. It just makes, they're trying to be like, so the reason why Jumin did that to her is he didn't want her to be attractive because...
Yeah. Jumin is a canonical misogynist.
Jumin is a canonical misogynist, but it's like, it's such a wild thing. He doesn't want her to be attractive, but it's like, she is attractive. It's a dumbass plot plot point to give a reason why she ends up having long hair and no glasses.
See, I think the thing is odd is because, like, the purpose is supposed to be, like, a character development haircut, or I guess the reverse, character development hairstyle change. But the issue with this is that, like, so much of Jaehee's hair and glasses are what make her look recognizable. So the fact that new Jaehee not only dresses completely different because she no longer has to work in an office, but she also has now long hair and she has no glasses, it makes her look like a completely different person. And, like, it doesn't quite work.
It doesn't work at all. Yeah, so it is stripping away anything that makes her recognizable and turning her into it's just a lady.
It's just a lady.
I do love her growth, and I'm a big simp, so her route is boring, but I enjoyed it a lot. So do we want to give it our, like, rating?
Oh, the overarching plot themes. How does Jaehee connect to the rest of the thing?
It connects to it because it establishes Mintai. It talks about Mintai, like, really? Mintai? V's just gone. V gave himself up, and he's gone. So the only connection is that, the solution to Mintai, which is kind of what each one of these routes has, like, kind of a different solution to the Mintai problem a little bit. This one is just that V gives himself up, and then it's done with. And then they have the party.
Love that for him.
And that's just kind of it. V goes, you can have me. And then they go, okay. And then there's just done with.
Fun times.
And then you watch Jaehee go to the movies.
I'm gonna go ahead. My personal rating for Jaehee's route is gonna be a B-. I do love her. I am gay. I have no interest in this route because it is kind of boring.
I want to give it. I don't want to let my heart dissuade me because I think this is 100% personal bias.
It's okay. We're allowed to have personal bias. It's our podcast.
I'm gonna give it a B+ just because it is boring, but I think the little bitty details of shit, watching Jaehee go to the movies and stuff, is so good, and I love it. Alright, Yusung time. Go on, Yusung simp. Dance for me.
Okay, so I'm the little Yusung simp. I've come before you in my little floppy jester's hat, and I'm here to tell you about the love of my life. So, Yusung is So we've put Yusung here strategically because his route is the most plot connected, and that is because Yusung is the cousin of Rika, who you may know is that bitch who died. Wink, wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge.
Yusung is pretty complicated because his route has a couple of things going on. Yusung is the least, I loathe to use this word, experienced of any of the characters in Mystic Messenger because he is the youngest of the characters. He's a university student. He's about 21. Recently graduated from high school and he reinvented himself. And by reinvented himself, I mean he has clinical depression.
He's extremely depressed.
Extremely horribly depressed. And what that makes it for him is that he's a gamer.
Yes, he's our gamer representation.
Yeah, Yusung is our gamer representation. He's addicted to a World of Warcraft clone called Lol.
Holy shit, it is World of Warcraft, isn't it?
It's basically World of Warcraft. Oh, League of Legends. Wait, I forgot League of Legends was real.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
But, he's addicted to a League of Legends clone called Lol, which is called League of Loneliness.
Is that true?
I believe so. If I remember from my perusing of the wiki, the game is called League of Loneliness and something else, but...
That's so funny.
It's so funny.
My favorite game is Depression Isle.
My favorite game is Second Life with depression. I love Yusung with all my heart, not only because he was the first route that I played in Mystic Messenger, but also because he's the route I've played the most. I've played his route around 3 times.
Ooh.
Yeah, fun times to go through that. So to basically explain the conflict with Yusung, Yusung is the only member in the common story who has active friction with V. Yusung does not like V. He does not trust V, and he does not think that V should be trusted by anybody else, and that's because he thinks that V is lying about Rika being dead.
Which he is.
And she is, you know. This will become a common theme when we talk about Yusung, so we're gonna put a pin in this, and you can call this our recurring segment called Yusung is right about everything, no exceptions.
Yes.
Yusung believes that V is lying about Rika's death. It's unclear whether or not he thinks he's lying about the whole thing entirely, or whether or not he thinks that he's just lying about the circumstances of Rika's death, but a lot of times it seems like he believes that V is just lying and that Rika is alive somewhere, which, you know, he ain't wrong.
Which is correct. I mean, no, he's not. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
No, he's not. Wink, wink. But, so Yusung is horribly depressed. He's never had a girlfriend, and so you are now... MC is always a woman, by the way. Sorry to my gays out there.
We respect you. We are one of you.
We respect you. We are one of you. But anyway, so you're a girl and you're nice to him, so he's like, what?
A girl?
A wooga? So, you know, you're a girl and you're nice to him. Yusung's romance has a lot of conflict regarding the fact that he does sort of project Rika onto you. And this is a thing that kind of gets me, not because I think it's a bad plot point, but because everybody seems to take it the wrong way. Yusung doesn't want to fuck his cousin. Please!
Yes, you see, we've met people who are annoyed by this plot point, and I understand, but for me, it never bothered me because it makes sense. She just died in his eyes.
She just died, man. She just died, and the thing is that when Yusung compares you to Rika, it has this air of sadness about it because he's comparing you on the barest thing, which is that you're doing the same job that Rika did, and you're providing him happiness, which is something that nobody else managed to do in the same way that she did. She's a person who emotionally affected him, and so he wants you to be reminiscent of her, and he doesn't realize how hurtful that can be because she's his fucking cousin.
Yeah, he doesn't really, he doesn't understand the sort of like weight of what's going on. He's confusing romantic feelings for the like paternal, almost like missing somebody, that he wants you to fill that hole without realizing that what he really wants, like, and what is like you are wanting to provide is not that, but something romantic.
It's one of those things where that is one of the first things you have to clear up in his route, and it's something that every RFA member gets on his ass about immediately.
Oh yeah, they do chew him out for that. I mean, deservedly so. It doesn't bug me that much that the Rafa chews him out as much as it does that I think people take that whole part of his route a little bit too out of proportion.
Yusung will say to you, "You're just like Rika," and then everybody in the RFA chat will go, "Rika in the group chat, get his ass." One of the big things about Yusung is that a lot of his route is basically him growing up in order to be a better boyfriend to you. Because he's grown to have pretty strong feelings for you through the phone, you know?
Kiss Me Through the Phone by Soulja Boy.
Kiss Me Through the Phone by Soulja Boy. He's grown to have pretty intense feelings for you, and he wants to be a better person for you. Part of that is that he has to take a step back from video games.
He has to stop being a gamer for love.
He has to stop being a gamer for love, because gaming... To explain the extent of Yusung's gaming addiction is that there are multiple intervals in his and other routes where he skips class to stay home and game.
Oh, yeah, very obviously so. And you also get pictures sent by him of him with, like, circles underneath his eyes.
He's not doing very well. Yusung also has a plot point where you have to talk about his major, because his college major is not known by anyone in the RFA.
I was about to say, does he have a major? I don't remember that.
Yusung has a college major, and if you guess it correctly, you get a little heart, and I've always guessed it correctly because I love him.
What is it?
He's majoring in medicine with the intent to become a vet.
Oh yeah, because of Rika.
Yeah, and the reason for this is because Rika's dog straight up McFucking died.
Yeah, that's everything. I think a big thing in Yusung is that he based his whole life off of Rika, and then Rika's no longer here, so now he's trying to be his own person.
Yeah. And so it's just like, it becomes a whole thing. And so Yusung wants to be more of an active adult who's fighting to help you. And then this brings up the big plot point, which comes up in every route, which we've neglected to mention, but I think that adds to the emotional weight. There's a fucking bomb in your apartment.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
There is a bomb in your goddamn apartment.
To get into why there's a bomb in the apartment, the whole thing is that Rika put in this bomb so that way if anybody gets in there that's not supposed to be in there, that's not authorized, the important documents in the apartment will be spared because the bomb will go off and will destroy the apartment.
Mm-hmm. And it's worth noting that the bomb was shut off for a while, but due to unknown factors, it just might blow you to bits if you try to leave the apartment. So,
I wish we were joking.
Your life is in peril. Your life is in horrible peril. Which then brings us to Yusung, who's pretty rightfully pissed off that his girlfriend is now trapped in an apartment with a fucking bomb. Pretty upset about this. He wants to blame V because, and this is, and I'll knock on Yusung for this one. He wants to blame V because he likes Seven more than V, and he doesn't want to blame Seven.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I mean, Seven's his friend.
Seven's cool. Seven's just doing what he was told.
Yeah, V, I know my bias is showing, but...
My bias is showing, but fuck V, but also don't... We won't get into that. Yusung wants to blame V for this, but it sort of comes and goes because, you know, fucking funny bomb.
Funny bomb.
Funny bomb, you're going to die. So then Yusung has to go on this mission where, with Seven, because Seven is going to go to the building from Min to I because he's going to defend you and try to get to the hacker that has unlocked the bomb. And Yusung is like, take me with you! Take me with you! Take me with you, don't leave me! Don't leave me here, take me with you! you. And 7 is like, alright. He's much more hesitant than that. But Yusung goes, and while he goes, there's very foreboding things. This is also the origin of Yandere Yusung. Which is teased in the game, and I know that it has like canon backing or whatever, but it's just not something I'm into.
I don't like it.
I don't like it very much. I can deal with Yusung's jealousy issues because I think he's cute, and I think his jealousy issues sort of add to him because this is sort of like one of the only things between him and the RFA that's like definitively his is your relationship with him.
It never really bothered me, his jealousy, from what I remember.
Yeah, his jealousy is, it's fun, it's fine. I don't really care that much. I know some people have a big issue with it, but his jealousy issues for me just sort of like add to the fact that this is his first relationship and he doesn't want to fuck it up, and he's sort of really insecure about the fact that like when compared to other members of the RFA or to other men in his eyes, he doesn't feel like he measures up. I deal with it. But Yandere Yusung, he gets pretty intense during this point in time because he's literally about to risk his life for you because he's wonderful and I adore him.
He's a sweet boy.
He's a very, very sweet boy. And so he goes, and there's a whole lot of fucking drama. There's a whole lot. 7 encounters a vision from his past, which we will get to in the 7th episode, at which point Milo's going to cry.
I will.
But, you move on from that. So one of the big plot points in Yusung's route is that he has to forgive V. Why he has to do that, I can't fucking tell you.
I forgot that was a plot point, and it makes me so mad in retrospect.
It's insane. He has to forgive V. He doesn't forgive him entirely, but he learns that V is blind because of injury caused by Rika, which, is a fact. And, he encounters V again, and he sort of opens his heart to the fact that maybe V isn't a huge liar who's lying about Rika being fucking dead. That doesn't change the fact that he is, but, for the good ending, you have to pretend that V is not a liar.
Looking at it in retrospect, it drives me insane, but we'll get into that more.
It makes me insane, but we will get into that more in our list of V's crimes on episode 3. So Yusung is my favorite route because 1, he's very much my type. He's so cute, and I adore him. I feel like Zen's whole thing is that he's flirtatious with you in a really confident way, which is fine. I don't like that. If I'm gonna be into a man, it's either gonna be like, here's my type of man. I have 2 types, and it is, huge man, Jason Momoa's levels of hot, or pathetic. And so I really like Yusung for that reason, is just because like so much of it is just that he's having a lot of these problems that are out of his depth, and he needs time to process. His grieving has been delayed a lot because he's not really allowed to like be angry at V because people will get his ass if he is. Rika had such a profound impact on his life. When people sort of simplify it to like him having this sort of cousin complex, it bothers me because I feel like a lot of Yusung's route is based on the fact that he does develop genuine, really intense feelings for you, but they're also based in this sense of like innocence because this is his very first relationship and he doesn't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, and that's what I find, Yusung I really enjoy because I think the thing that I really like about Yusung is that he's earnest. He is like really earnest.
Yeah.
And his feelings for you, where a lot of routes, whenever it's rushed, I can kind of like go, okay, it's rushed because they only have 10 days, so you sort of understand. With Yusung's, it feels like the reason why it speeds up as quickly as it does, it feels like almost because he genuinely likes you because you are a pretty girl, and then he sort of goes into, I like you because of you, and it feels really like heartfelt. And I also think he sacrifices a fair bit for you. He is incredibly devoted, and I think that sort of like a devotion is so sweet, especially because he is a cutesy character, and yet he is so serious, and like not serious, but you know what I mean, depressed.
Yusung is just like, aside from being super cute, which like on a surface level is one of his main appeals, because with Zen his appeal is being a hot dude, and with Jaehee her appeal is being a girl, and also being a very capable, understanding person. And like with Yusung, he's not only cute, but like his route has this surprising amount of depth based on his grief, and like he's super earnest, and that's one of the things that gets me about him. Also, one of the things that gets me about Yusung is, aside from like, he gives up a lot to be with you, including an eye, and also he gets a cat for you.
Yeah.
He gives up a lot to be with you. He's also, on the point of him being earnest, embarrassingly so.
He's embarrassingly earnest, yeah.
I love playing other routes specifically for one of the reasons I love playing other routes. Not only because I like all the characters in the game to some extent, but because, with the exception of one.
About to say.
Is because I really like that Yusung will have calls in other people's routes that are just the most fucking... They're either extremely sad or so embarrassing for him.
They are! Yusung takes the role of, like, your best friend in a lot of other routes that also kind of still has feelings for you. So he'll call you, and sometimes he's just drunk, and he's, like, crying. And then other times he's, like, telling you this story and asking you about life advice, and it's just like, oh, your buddy Yusung is back, and he's telling you an embarrassing story.
Mm-hmm. You know, this will just be a moment's notice, but everybody, like, lots of people know about this call if you played the game already, but there is a call in Seven's route where Yusung will call you and he'll go, everybody in my video game is calling me a masochist.
Yes! And if you say this, like, what was, I don't remember what it was.
It was like kind of a flirty line where you're like, you don't know what that is, you deserve to be punished.
Yeah, and then he's like, ooh, I like that. And it's like, dude. This is not your route.
Dude, this is not your route, but I'm in love with you.
But I'm in love with you. He's just so genuine whenever he says shit, and he doesn't even realize what he's saying, I feel like, half the time. So it makes it feel so much more sweet. He's just a sweet boy. I really enjoy how, like, really sweet he is. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so my rating for Yusung, because I am a Yusung simp, and I'm allowed to say whatever I want, because it's my podcast, is an A+. Love him to death.
I'm gonna give him, you see, it's been a while since I've played Yusung's, but from what I remember, I'm gonna give him an A. I don't want to give him an A+ because I don't know.
You gotta save that. You gotta save that for your special boy.
I'm gonna save it for my special boy. But I really like Yusung. Yusung is probably my second, maybe tied with Jaehee for, like, my favorite character in Mystic Messenger. Maybe. I really like Yusung. I think Yusung, yeah. His route is just really, the depth of it. He's definitely the second favorite route that I have. Because the depth to his route is impeccable and kind of shows that Mystic Messenger can have really sweet moments and also really good depth.
Yeah. I want to add a small addendum to our grading system. What do you think about the concept that we have one S?
Oh, I like this.
And it stands for simp. You can only give it to one character.
Yeah. So do you want to change yours to S, be simp?
My rating for Yusung is going to be an S. I'm going to give that one up in episode 1.
Okay, I'm going to change mine for Yusung to be an A+ then. I enjoyed it a lot.
So now to get into our next segment.
Let me say Dawn.
Let's add Dawn in here. Get in here! Dawn's about to cook your ass.
Dawn's about to cook my ass.
Welcome to our new segment called Get His Ass. I specifically asked Milo to invite Dawn onto the podcast because I wanted the perspective of somebody who just watched this descent.
Yes. Dawn, what was it like to watch the months that I got into Miss Me?
Terrifying, I would like to say, is the first adjective. Well, when you started playing this, I wanted to support you. I wanted to be like, yeah, this is an interest. You were into it, and I was like, okay, I'll support you. And then you slowly got Mystic Messenger brain rot, and I descent from this is a casual sort of interest to, like, this is your life.
See, okay, me and Nellsie would start routes at the same time, because we wanted to experience it together. So it became sort of a communal activity. And it got to the point where I would go, good morning, Dawn, and Dawn would go, and Dawn, Vampire, would message me. I'm not gonna bully you on the podcast.
This isn't my turn to be bullied. This is your turn to be bullied.
Would message back, good morning, and then Dawn would ask, how are you? And I'd go, fine, and then I start telling Dawn about Miss Me, unprompted.
Like, instead of good morning messages, I'd just get like, so V was a bitch today.
He was, though! He was!
When isn't he a bitch? That's his entire route, according to you guys. V is a cuck. That's that route.
Listen. V might be a cuck. That's about it. But it bears mentioning that before we were playing Mystic Messenger, Milo and I were, like, friends. We were buds. We had talked in, because we've met through Discord, through a shared Discord server. So we had talked through calls, and I had always vibed with Milo, because we talked about similar things. But then something happened to us.
I love that you say something happened to us, like it's fucking, I fell into a vat of toxic waste.
Yeah, this is your supervillain start.
We fell into a vat of toxic waste, and Dawn watched.
Yeah.
viewers at home, it was my birthday. Whenever me and Nellsie were on call, it was like a big birthday bash, you know, a bunch of friends were on call, we were playing Jackbox. And me and Nellsie did this bit, we're like, what if we started playing Mystic Messenger together? And then we downloaded it, and now look at this.
And now look at it, we're starting our podcast empire.
I want to ask, Dawn, do you remember that we were on call, and I was talking about Mystic Messenger unprompted again. And you asked me, you said, why don't you put down Mystic Messenger? And I got really upset. I said, why? I can stop if I want to.
Yeah, I don't remember how that conversation started. And I said, speaking of addiction, Milo, how's Mystic Messenger going? Like how is that going for you? And you were like, oh, I'm doing like one of the last routes. You know, after this, I think I'm gonna stop. And I was like, oh, really? You're gonna stop? We'll see about that. And then you got like really defensive, and you were like, I can stop whenever I want. I can stop playing Mystic Messenger, watch. And then you didn't. And then you continued to play Mystic Messenger for much longer after that conversation. So you proved absolutely nothing except for the fact that you were really addicted to Mystic Messenger for like a hot minute there.
Listen. It bears mentioning, multiple times over the course that we had begun our journey with Mystic Messenger, we had now become part of the Mystic Messenger community in a way where people were twice over the time that we were playing Mystic Messenger, the Mystic Messenger chat tag trended on Twitter, and people asked us about it.
My dear friends, my college friends added me in another server and said, why is Mystic Messenger trending? And the sad, belated sigh I had to give because I knew why was so disheartening.
If you're curious for the reason why, it's because it was having a server breakage because of the fucking events. Zen's birthday event and the Children's Day event.
Yeah, every event crashes the app.
For like 2 hours, which is a long time.
I also want to say, Dawn, didn't I get you to start playing Mystic
Yes,
Messenger?
you did.
You played Yusung's route.
Yeah, I played Yusung's route, and then I tried to play Jaehee's route, but I got really bored. Yeah, it's a lot of reading, and like it's a lot of reading at like specific times, and I'm really forgetful, and you know, sometimes I forget to do really important things sometimes, and I can't spend in like 20 minutes doing this chat. I don't care enough for that. I'll just watch a playthrough online.
You can't kiss Jaehee, so it's
I'm gonna be the first Mystic Messenger playthrough. It's me.
The first Mystic Messenger speed run.
Oh, I googled that. Okay, we're gonna get way off topic. I don't want to keep you here longer than you have to be.
We've imprisoned Dawn under a microscope, and we're observing him.
In amber.
Like a fly. Good for me.
We're observing him, and we're just like, what are your thoughts on us playing Mystic Messenger, boy?
I have so many thoughts. I love thinking and saying things.
You see, another funny story is that Dawn started playing Miss Me, and Dawn was like, I really like Yusung. And I had this horrifying, like, turn towards the mirror, like, sort of opinion of, like, what does that say about me?
What does it say about you?
It's because we're both gamers, isn't it? Huh? Is that why?
Why are you so defensive about me playing Yusung's route? I just thought he was cute.
I want to know what that says about me.
I think you're cute.
Don't deflect by being sweet to me.
Don't deflect by being in an honest relationship. There will be no love here. There is no love in this zone.
There's only judgment and hate.
There's only judgment and hatred and Yusung.
And
also Yusung. Can I say something really quick about Yusung?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it creeped me out. Yusung's route creeped me out a little bit.
Because of his jealousy.
His jealousy. No. I didn't like how he compared us to Rika all the time. It was weird.
Got him! We predicted it! We got it! Everybody flash your cameras, we got it!
We had mentioned about how that made people uncomfortable.
I'm crab walking around you, Dawn, and I'm flashing my paparazzi camera. We got it!
Everybody grieves in their own way, love.
Everybody grieves in their own way, love.
At the start, it was like, okay, he sees a little bit of Rika in me. That's okay. It's not strange at all, you know? Like, it's okay for you to see people you loved and, you know, somebody else you love now. And he's still grieving, so it's okay that he's doing that. Like, it was like, at first it was like, okay, that's fine. But then, like, it started getting, like, too much. Like, it was too much. Like, he was like, you should be just like Rika. You're doing all this. It was like the point where he was like, oh, like, you are Rika. And I was like, I don't like that. Are you in love with your cousin? I don't like that you're in love with your cousin.
He's not!
The way he talked about her was like he is infatuated with that woman. And then also that he saw her in you, that's extremely creepy because he's dating you. So he saw his cousin in you so much that at times he confused you for like it's weird. I don't want that.
Don, I kill you in real life.
Listen, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for that.
There's excuse!
Okay.
She died!
Okay.
She just died!
Okay.
Less
Okay,
than
I'm gonna
2
put
years
this
ago.
in perspective of a real life relationship. If somebody Milo was related to died, and Milo was like, "Oh hey, Dawn, you are this person now," I'd be really uncomfortable. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't want to be confused with somebody who's dead. Like, I don't like that.
Listen, as long as you don't enable my mans, he stops!
Yeah, like, after he, like, self-sacrifices for you.
No, he doesn't! He does. No,
It's not a healthy coping mechanism. He's not doing this healthily.
I beat you up in real life.
I mean, Don is right. It is not healthy.
Yeah.
I will give you that, but I don't think if I did that to you, Don, you would turn to me and you would tell me that, oh, I think you wanted to fuck the person who's dead.
No, I'd be like, hey, babe, maybe you should see a therapist for that grief. I don't want your grief to confuse you for somebody who's dead. I don't want that. If you're dating me, I want you to be dating me. You know, I don't want you son to be like, oh, Rika, I love you. Oops, sorry, Dawn.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you. I want to have this be. This is a fun thing we can do for every guest that comes on here. We could have them rank, if they have played it, their opinions on the route that we have talked about. I want you to give it like a school rating, like A to D and F.
Give us a grade for Yusung. Give us a grade for Yusung.
Yusung himself. I felt like he had a lot of depth to his character. I'm gonna give him like a solid B.
That's beautiful. Yusung got very high marks across the board. We'll be sending him to the anime boy replication factory.
Yeah, he was a nice kid. He just needed therapy. He just needs therapy. I'm not gonna give him a lower grade for that.
Before, I also want to ask you before you go. So the next one that we're playing is that devil game, if you've seen the ads around?
Yes, when I downloaded Mystic Messenger, that was the first game it recommended to me afterwards.
How do you think, are you excited to hear about that? How excited are you to hear me talk to you about that, Don?
Also terrified. Excited to hear you talk, 10 out of 10. Excited to hear you talk about another weird anime boy dating game. Not so much. I feel like the real fear here is that you are also gonna become addicted to this one now. You're like, man, this has really good plot development for this character. Wow, it's great.
I doubt it.
The depth they're really getting for these characters and like the stories and stuff, and then you're just gonna get really far into that like now, and then it's gonna repeat itself. History.
No, I'm going to purposely make sure that doesn't happen.
Listen, I'm putting in my cards now. You can, listen, if I'm wrong, you can replay the clip in our episode on Obey Me. You can replay the clip and you can make me look like a clown. You can play the honk honk sound effect after I said it, and then you can conveniently edit it to say that I was wrong. But we're not gonna simp for anybody in Obey Me.
Alright, we'll see about that. You're both simps. You're simps at heart, and I don't think you could change your nature. So I think you're gonna see some really cute boy on this fucking game, and he's gonna have like a really nice story, and he's gonna be depressed but written well, and you're gonna like feel for him, and then you're gonna develop feelings, and you're gonna simp for a character on Obey Me. So.
Maybe Milo, but I'm stronger than
No!
that.
I refuse!
Listen, I've never simped in my
Nellsie,
life.
you are also
for
a simp. Do not even try.
Nellsie, do not throw me to the wolves.
Well,
as a fellow simp.
Donovan, thank you for being part of our podcast. We appreciate you.
Nellsie, you have simped.
I'm not going to dignify that, but I've never simped in my life, and if you ask my partner, they will tell you nothing. Yeah, Milo and I have never simped in our lives. You could ask the people we're in love with, they will say no. Don doesn't count.
707? Y'all didn't simp for 707?
Don doesn't count.
Y'all didn't simp for 707?
Anyway, Mr. Donovan, we're gonna usher you out of our podcast so we can reach our outro. We're playing the Bim Bam exit music. We're going to the money zone. That's copywritten. We're not going to the money zone.
Thank you for having me here. Goodbye.
No problem. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Don.
Alright, that was fun. I'm glad we had Dawn on the podcast. This was episode 1 of our currently unnamed podcast. We will be having 2 more episodes after this, uncovering the deep story and another story routes in Mystic Messenger, and after that we will be playing Obey Me.
We'll be playing Obey Me, which will be interesting, and I'm excited for, but also terrified.
I'm extremely excited. As far as I understand it, this game is super weird and strange, and a little bit problematic, which is just a great stew for an episode.
Yeah, the great stew for us to lose our minds about.
Yeah, I think that's good. We'll see you then. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of our podcast. We really appreciate you being here, and we hope you'll continue to listen for a couple more episodes before you throw us to the wolves.
Yeah, we'll see you then!
It's so cold out here, listener.
Also, most likely, I will probably have links in the... I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but...
all 5 of you.
If we do, all 5 of you, I'll probably be including links in the description to go donate.
Yeah, donate to my PayPal. Pay for me to get a Nintendo Switch Lite. But no, these will be links to donate to Black Lives Matter chapters, good charities, because as we are currently in a hellhole of police brutality, if you're at this podcast and you have a couple of dollars, throw it at some black people.
Yeah, I'll probably also include a link to just, watch us in the background, make ad revenue for them.
Alright, thank you so much for listening.